Hi guys, welcome back to Whip CS, and finally CSGO is back. Some CS is back, man. We have been craved for this for a month or so. Before talking about the fantasy, let's talk about the group stage. I will tell you what are my views, which team should not pick in the fantasy and which teams can do well. So I will do the predictions first, and then basically we'll talk about fantasy depending on the situations. In the predictions to the group A, I would say that people would say, oh, Vitality the clear favorites, and they are the clear favorites. But remember, I'm gonna be honest, Evil Geniuses are pretty good. Like obviously Vitality is next level, so Vitality is gonna win it. I think they will not find it hard at all in the group A. If they were any other group, I think they would be struggling a bit with a new signing. But with this group, I think they are pretty spot on, man. You should go for Vitality. They are pretty great, right now, pretty solid in this group. Ninjas in pajamas, I would say no. A big no. Apart from Hampers, which is 153, which is to be honest, it's gonna be insane. It's really cheap, but I would say don't pick a Ninjas in Pajamas player, because remember this as well. NIP was good in the major, good considering the expectations, but without a proper in-game leader, they will struggle. With an in-game leader who has not been playing for the 6 months, they will struggle. I would just say that they would struggle in this group. Definitely, they would struggle. And the teams that are basically playing, they are playing against, has improved. They have improved. All the Complexity and Evil Geniuses have kept their core. Evil Geniuses haven't changed a whole team. I mean, they have bought in the EG Black, so they haven't changed the whole team. They have bought in Automatic. Again, a improvement from the earlier team, and we saw them in the Blast, pretty good in the Complexity, right? Ellie just bought in, again, an improvement. They still have the structure, they still have the players. Now they are improved, and both of the teams have been doing boot camps as well. So both of them will be in a great momentum. They are there to prove that NA is still there. So hunger will be there as well, and because of that, I'm gonna be honest, I don't trust in NIP at all. I think NIP will be third or fourth in this group. I genuinely believe it. I think they will lose against Complexity as well. So I would say that if you wanna don't pick it from anyone else apart from Vitality. Maybe if you want to pick a cheap player, maybe you can go for Hampers, or you can go for basically the offer from Complexity as well, because Holzok is cheap considering how impactful he is as well. So yeah, in the group B, I'm going for, in this group, remember this as well, right? Navi in 6 months from now can be hit or miss, right? It is a thing, right? They have changed the language, so that's a big issue, which will come back and bite them in the ass. I feel like it as well, but I do believe that they still have the quality of the players. I'm gonna be honest, I don't trust Navi that much. I don't really trust them. Same for Astralis. I mean, Astralis is great and all. I don't know. Let's see how. I think they will be better than what they were earlier, because they do have the better players. So that's going to be the case. But I don't know how good FlamEZ will be. Maybe, they have improved based on the firepower. But overall, in terms of in-game reading and all the structure, it's going to be a big change because of that. And same for Big, man. Big, I don't know. They want to speak in English. I just don't understand. What's the point of signing Mantu if Mantu is good, okay? He is pretty good. But if you're gonna speak in English, Mantu's not the player you go for. There's Dexter, there's Zorte, and Big is not a small organization as well. If they actually want to splash the cash, they could. And these two players are not gonna be that expensive. Zorte was 100K. It's not that expensive for a team like Big, especially how impactful these two players will be. And Mantu is good. But if you're gonna speak in English, it just doesn't make sense, right? So I just don't believe that Big is going to do a lot of damage. And also remember, guys, Heroic is the team that is going to be on point. Heroic know this. Remember, Heroic know that this is the moment. Vitality will be a bit shaky. There are 3 teams that have big teams that have not changed the teams, right? It's Heroic, FaZe, and G2. So one of these 3 teams have opportunity to basically not a legacy, but have a good run of couple of tournaments. And I think Heroic has the chance, because they ended the major kind of sad, but on a good level, that they were in the semis as well. And then they went to US as well, and they did it really well. Now again, no changes. I think they will do amazingly well. So again, in this group, I'm going for Heroic to basically go through, and I think second is going to be Navi, just because based on the firepower. I think Astralis is good, but I think Navi still do have amazing firepower, and I think they will basically edge in this, second position. And in this group, I feel like Big is going to be last, to be honest, yeah. And the group C, my god, this one is hard, right? I mean, this not hard, but I feel like FaZe and G2 are the clear favorites. I think Liquid is gonna just get dismantled. I'm gonna be honest. New in-game leader. They have lost the identity. They don't know what they are doing, to be honest, right now. Two aggressive players, completely aggressive players, and then their opera is not that impactful as well. It's just Liquid is all the players, man. I'm a Liquid fan. Was a Liquid fan, but I genuinely believe that they will struggle with not having a proper in-game leader. Yakinda was good in calling, but let's see who's going to be the second caller. Who's going to be, who's stepping up, when you need some sort of help, because Yakinda is new to in-game leading, right? You need a second caller, right? That's what I said. Yakinda was good as a secondary caller, but being a main caller, not with not that experience, and Naf is not a person who's gonna basically say a lot. OC doesn't like to basically take control as well. I don't know about Patsy and Rain Walker. OG is just dog shit. Because of that, I'm gonna say FaZe and G2 are pretty good. FaZe looked a bit shaky against the Legends team as well. Like, bro, they played against Legends and they didn't look good at all. I hope it's a CS2 match and they didn't care as well, because it's like a show match, but it didn't look good, that's for sure. I'm gonna say G2, because again, G2 and FaZe, one of the teams, have to basically do it. I think I'm going for G2 over FaZe, but I think FaZe is gonna win against OG as well. Liquid over OG, because just based on the fact that OG is dog shit. So yeah, that is my predictions. FaZe, G2 FaZe, Liquid OG. In the group B, it's gonna be Heroic, Navi, Astralis, Big, and in the group A, it's gonna be Vitality, Complexity, EG, and NIP. Now in fantasy, this time you can go for a lot of different teams, man. Seriously, depending on what do you expect, because a lot of players are really, really cheap. If you look at the Heroics and the Vitalities, they are kind of expensive, but you look at FaZe, Cadian's 167, that's really cheap, right? You look at Hooksy, 165, that's really cheap. I would recommend not to pick in Liquid. In NIP, you can pick for Hampers, 153, what the fuck is this? Like, how? But again, I'm gonna say this. This is really cheap, and if you want to go for it, go for it. Like, seriously, it can be one of those bold players, but I will not choose NIP, and I think NIP will lose all of the games. I genuinely believe so. I think Hetty is a good player, but he's not good enough. This team is not good enough. I'm sorry, and especially with a new in-game leader, I just don't trust them. With Astralis as well, man. Two of the players that you want to pick is BlameF and Device, but they are really expensive. In Complexity, you can go for Holzerk and Elite. Pretty cheap. You can go for all of the players, to be honest, man. All the players, considering how good they are pretty cheap, and obviously they're gonna play against NIP as well. Their group is kind of easy as well, so you can go for Complexity. Actually, in EVG, I don't think so. You should go Big No. Navi is someone that you can go for, and two players that you can go for is basically Bit and Simple, because Bit is 189. What? Bit is 189. It's insane how cheap Bit is. Like, it's really insane. And Simple is, for 214, Simple is gonna deliver, man. Simple is gonna be much, much better than 214. That's the thing. I'm going with Heroic, because that Cadian never always steps up in the group stage. Obviously, Heroic has not made the changes as well, so I feel like Heroic are the best teams right now, best team in the world right now in terms of group stage as well. And coming to Blast, they are comfortable. They have everything to be winning the group, to be honest, right? Especially in a group which is just full of changes, like every other group, I would say. Now for the next two players, I'm going for FlamEZ and Apex. Now people are like, why are you playing Apex, man? Like, what's the point? Because you can go for Hampus and basically get all the best players. Why I'm going for Apex is because I think Apex is cheap considering the group. I think Vitality is gonna win their group easily, and Apex is not the best player, but I think he's good enough to win against Complexity, good enough to be positive against Complexity, NIP and EG. And when your team is winning, it's easier to be positive as well. And I think that's why I'm going for Apex. And FlamEZ, you can go for Magics if you feel like, but I'm going for FlamEZ because I feel like when a new player comes in, you try to give them as much of, you try to make him as comfortable as possible, and maybe, give him some space as well. So I think, FlamEZ could be a great pick for a couple of, new tournaments, because again, he will be given space, and, everyone will be like trying to, please him in that sense. Don't take it the wrong way, but yeah. And now the next player, there are not a lot of good players, but if you go scroll down a bit, Bit, 189 for Bit. It's crazy. Again, 189 for Bit is crazy, man. Now I know Bit is gonna struggle because he's not. He's one of the players that is have never played in a English speaking lineup. He has only played in Russian speaking lineup, right? So that's a problem. Also, if there is a communication issue with the whole team, Pitt is the one who's gonna be suffering the most, right? That is the issue. But I feel like again, 189 is so cheap that you have to go for him. Pitt, again, I feel like, they will finish second. And I think Pitt does even decent job, you will basically get a good deal for good deal from him. I think this is the team I'm going for. Again, if you want to go for a different team, I agree. I understand. If you feel like, FlamEZ is not the best, and if you want to go for a different team, you can go for, removing FlamEZ and go for simple. Now you'll be like, oh my god, removing FlamEZ can give you simple. You should do it. And yeah, you should do it. But remember this as well. Then Heroic and Navi in the same group. Right? That can be an issue because one of the team is gonna get playing against each other and will get better. So if you want to remove Heroic because Navi and Heroic are in the same group, you can go for a G2 team. JKS and Hunter, Simple, Bit, and Apex. This is a very solid lineup. All the teams are top quality teams. Simple and Bit are gonna get delivered because they are good players. Apex, like I said, they were going to deliver as well. Hunter and JKS should deliver as well because they have an easy team to play against. It's going to be Liquid, and if they, and if somehow basically it's going to be FaZe and G2 in that group, right? So that's going to be the case as well. I think there are a couple of ways that you can go for. One of the ways is basically changing FlamEZ to Simple and keeping Heroic, and one of the way is this, where you bring in Simple and you want to change a group because so remove Heroic and bring in G2. But this one is a riskier one, and the FaZe Navi Heroic one is a riskier one as well. For me, I would go for FlamEZ because I know for a fact that Vitality is going to win the group. And people can say the names and this and that, but if you're winning the group, you are getting the points. Now, coming to the rules, I'm going for leader for Apex. Like I said, they're going to win all the games. Headshot for Bit, obviously. He is great, he's like amazing in that sense. For FlamEZ, I'm going for attacker. I feel like he's great and he will be taking a lot of, entry positions as well from Apex because he's pretty amazing in that. And obviously remember this as well, Vitality's T side is fucking crazy, so that's a good way. FlamEZ will be really good in that sense as well. Obviously opping is going to be Cadian and Sjuush with the multi-fragger. Tell me your fantasy in the comments and what's your opinion on this fantasy as well. I think it's pretty good. I think I've taken enough gamble in Bit and Apex, but I've also taken, secured, have some security in terms of, Cadian and Sjuush as well. I would say if you want to take a gamble, maybe you can as well, but I'm playing it safe earlier. It's the start of the season, so I'm gonna be close to the top of the season as well, or top of the table. So again, if you follow my fantasy, tell me in the comment section. I would really appreciate it, and good luck for that 1%. I think top 5%. I'm expecting top 5%. So goodbye, guys, and take care. See you soon. Cologne is coming, man. Cologne is coming. Oh my god, it's gonna be exciting.